Solving quadratic equation by factoring. So here are the steps in solving quadratic equations by factoring. Number 1, transform the equation in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c if needed. Number 2, factor the quadratic expression. Number 3, apply the zero product property by setting each factor of the quadratic expression equal to 0. Number 4, solve each resulting equation. And number 5, check the values of the variable obtained by substituting each in the original equation. So let's have an example. So example number 1, find the solutions of x squared plus 9x equals negative 8. So we are going to follow the steps in solving the quadratic equation by factoring. So number 1, transform the equation in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. So the given is x squared plus 9x equals negative 8. So that is not yet in standard form. So we are going to write it in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. So it will become x squared plus 9x plus 8 equals 0. So step number 2 is factor the quadratic expression. So the quadratic expression is x squared plus 9x plus 8. So the factor of the expression is x plus 1 and x plus 8. So next is apply the zero product property by setting each factor of the quadratic expression equal to 0. So each of the factor will be equate to 0. So x plus 1 is equal to 0 and x plus 8 equals 0. Number 4, solve the resulting equation. So we are now going to solve for the value of x. So x plus 1 equals 0. The value of x in that equation is x is equal to negative 1. Then x plus 8 equals 0. The value of x is negative 8. So last step is check the values of the variable obtained by substituting each in the original equation. So for x equals negative 1, the original equation is x squared plus 9x equals negative 8. Substitute negative 1 to the variable x. We have negative 1 squared plus 9 times negative 1 equals negative 8. So negative 1 squared is 1. Then 9 times negative 1 is negative 9 equals negative 8. So simplify the left side of the expression. So 1 minus 9 is equal to negative 8. So negative 8 equals negative 8. Next, for the value of x which is negative 8, copy the original equation, x squared plus 9x equals negative 8. Substitute the value of x which is negative 8 to the x in the equation. So negative 8 squared plus 9 times negative 8 equals negative 8. Simplifying the left side of the equation. So negative 8 squared is 64. Then 9 times negative 8 is negative 72. So we have 64 minus 72 equals negative 8. 64 minus 72 is equal to negative 8. So therefore, we have negative 8 equals negative 8. So both values of x satisfy the given equation. So the equation x squared plus 9x equals negative 8 is true when x is equals to negative 1 or when x is equal to negative 8. Another example. So example number 2, find the solutions of 10m squared equals 15m. So first, transform the equation in standard form. We have 10m squared equals 15m will become 10m squared minus 15m equals 0. So next is factor the quadratic expression. So the quadratic expression in the equation is 10m squared minus 15m. So the factor of the expression is 5m and 2m minus 3. 5m multiply by the quantity of 2m minus 3 equals 0. Next is apply the zero product property or equate each factor to 0. So 5m is equal to 0 and 2m minus 3 equals 0. Step number 4 is solve the resulting equation. So 5m is equal to 0. Divide both sides by 5. So 5m divided by 5 is m and 0 divided by 5 is equal to 0. So the value of m is 0. So next is to solve the resulting equation of 2m minus 3 equals 0. So let us find for the value of m. 2m divided by 2 equals 3 divided by 2. So m is equal to 3 over 2. So last step is to check the values of the variable obtained by substituting each in the original equation. So for m equals 0, copy the original equation first. We have 10 m squared equals 15m. So substitute 0 to the variable m. So 10 times 0 squared equals 15 times 0. So simplifying both sides of the equation, we have 10 times 0 is 0 and 15 times 0 is 0. Next, for m equals 3 over 2. So again, copy the original equation. 10m squared equals 15m. Substitute 3 over 2 to the variable m. So 10 multiply by 3 over 2 squared equals 15 multiply to 3 over 2. So simplifying, 3 over 2 squared is 9 over 4. So 10 times 9 over 4 equals 15 times 3 over 2. So 10 times 9 is 90 over 4. Then 15 times 3 is 45 over 2. So 90 over 4 can be written in lowest terms. So we have 45 over 2 equals 45 over 2. So both values of m satisfy the given equation. So the equation 10m squared equals 15m is true when m is equal to 0 or when m is equal to 3 over 2. So thank you and enjoy learning.